言うことは一つだけ。絶対負けねえ。
How's it going, everybody? This is Nothing XS here with a new video analyzing the new units that have just come out. And really, there's only one new unit that just came out, and it's a Hino Ryoma in the actual Japan national team kit, which is a little bit surprising. It's kind of a what-if character. What if he had not gone back to Uruguay and had stayed to become a two-top with Hyuga? So here we're going to analyze what that would have been like. Well, not really. We're going to take a look at a character that is basically like a Gaiden character. So we don't have the actual news information yet, but the information for the actual unit has already been released. We can see here that he's coming. His name is Dragon Tiger Attack, and as you can see, this is just a banner showing us what players are coming back, but not actually showing us the information for the players. So the special thing about this guy is that he has a plus 15% to his stats when played with Kojiro Hyuga, and also his team skill is going to be plus 15% to all agility type South Americans and plus 10 to all agility type players, which makes him kind of usable in a team where you might want to have Hyuga, so that he at least gets 10% if you have like the Dreamfest Hyuga, or maybe like the Money Hyuga, or even Storm Braving Tiger. Now, he is included in a 6-step banner, which we're not going to pull today because the game isn't live yet. We're just kind of watching kind of like information that has been released a little bit early. But first we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start talking about these players. So let's go ahead and let's talk about it. First we're just going to start with Hino just straight out of the gate. Now he's coming around toting a bit of shooting ability, but he's a little bit better at passing, believe it or not. This is a version of Hino that really I wasn't expecting at all. You would expect, oh, he's just going to be this crazy shooter, he's just going to destroy everyone. Well, no, he's actually better at passing than he is at shooting, even if it's like by a tiny little bit. So he does get 15% for playing with Hyuga. His team skill is 15-10 for Blue South America. You're able to use him on a blue team. So if you got Roberto, Hino is very attractive. He will make for a very, very interesting blue forward on a team where you might have Hyuga and Hino up front, and maybe you'll have as your central midfielder Roberto, and then maybe Tsubasa off to one side and Nachoreza to another, something like that. Basically, you have a very, very aggressive attacking team in a build like that. So I am kind of looking forward to seeing how that will really look. Now again, he's a strong shooter and incredibly strong passer at the forward position with an S duo and an S shot with Hyuga. Is he strange? Yes. Is he interesting? Quite. And is he good? I think so. Now for his pros, with plus 40%, and if you include Hyuga and Roberto on the team, he's going to have 20,516 shot on the ground, and a little bit above that in pass, which honestly is pretty great. He really can move the ball. He is a good user of the A Dragon Pass and of the A Jumping Tornado shot. By the way, that 20,516 shot, I do believe I calculated post-limit break, which I've posted down here. Now, he is a good user of A Dragon Pass and A Jumping Tornado shot. If you send him a ball in the box and it's high, especially with like the Blue Matsuyama, he will definitely be able to put that ball to use. And then obviously the plus 15% stat passive is nice to have. Now cons, he doesn't really have over 1,000 stamina, which is kind of strange. He's a little weak at dribbling despite coming with South American dribble, which I guess, I mean, that sucks, but it is what it is. He doesn't really do anything on defense, but you shouldn't hold out against him too much because he's a forward. And really for him to be useful at all, he needs Hyuga on the field. Without Hyuga, he's nothing. So if you're going to exhaust someone first, it has to be this guy, because Dreamfest Hyuga, for example, you don't want to tire him out immediately. For his limit break, I would give him 25 speed, so he's a little bit faster at getting around, and also improves his ability to dribble. And then I would focus 25 shot and power, and then 22-3 passing technique. Why didn't I give him 22 and then 3 and dribble and speed, or maybe focus on dribble and speed and leave his pass to be? It's because I believe that he primarily moves the ball forward via his 1-2 and during full power. And so you rather just be fast, so that after you come out of the 1-2, you can really run in there at the goal. Looking at his stats, as you can see, he has 7.5 shot and pass, and 5.6 power, 5.9 technique. That winds up with him having 10,331 shot, but 10,456 pass. Again, this is not something anyone was expecting. The rest of the stats are in the 7.x categories, usually averaging out to 7.3, 7.4 drill, 7.3 tackle, 7.3 block, 7.5 intercept. They're not going to do any of those things, except maybe dribble. For his skill builds, the 3 skills that he comes with are Dragon Tiger Duo, Dragon Tiger Shot, and South American Dribble. Dragon Tiger Shot is a 475 cap shot. I do believe Dragon Tiger Duo is a 460 cap. I'm going to check that out one more time because I did have him open just a moment ago. So I want to make sure that I do give you the correct information in that regard. Dragon Tiger Duo is actually a 460 1-2 with 430 cost. Dragon Tiger Shot is 475 shot with 435 stamina cost and 2 blowaways, which is pretty nice. It's pretty much a slightly cheaper double speed, double spin tornado shot because double speed, double spin is 460. Now he's the kind of striker you give the ball to right as you meet the defensive line, then you hit full power 1-2 past your opponents and sink the ball into the back of the net. He's actually really able to enable himself because of that skill. And makes him, he's kind of a headache to deal with for defenses that aren't fully up to snuff on their pass cuts. He does pretty well in the box as well, since his shot power is very high, and also since he has very good high balls, jumping tornado shot is very good on him. Since you can get up to like 20k. Remember, you multiply that by you add 12.5% of that when you do a high ball, and that's very, very, very scary. And so he does really well in like Blue Japan plus South America. So he's an interesting player. I would rate him an S. I don't know if you should go broke for him. I'm probably going to step up on this banner. But I don't know what else I'll do. But it is nice of them to release any version of Hino that is wearing a World Cup jersey. We're not sure why he's not Uruguayan, but I think, frankly, they just really wanted to do a version that was paired up with Hyuga. Everyone's saying, oh, they didn't get the rights to the Uruguayan uniform. I think it's more complicated than that. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But I like the design that they came out with instead. Now we're going to observe the other 5 returning units that I have not reviewed yet, so we're going to review them. First, we're going to start with Crashing Lightning Kojiro Hyuga. When it was originally released, there were a couple of actually there was a bunch of different Hyugas, but the only real impactful ones were Roaring Thunder, who was basically, everyone calls him Raiju Hyuga. He had a lot of shooting power. For a while, he was actually the strongest shooter in the game. And he lacked any other options other than shooting, but because he was so strong at shooting, people found ways to give him the ball in the box and just destroy people. Basically, with the Hyuga clones, along with him, there were the Hyuga clones, which is that there were like the 2 green versions, which were 3 Win Vow and the Japan 2017 one, and then Storm Braving Tiger and the Money one. All 4 of them had extraordinarily similar close stats that were only like a couple hundred apart from each other, and they were only apart because they had maybe a little more power, a little less power, but basically they were all for the same unit with different passives. And so I always called them the Hyuga clones, but they were in green and blue, and no Hyuga clone existed for red. Basically, this guy came out. He's stronger when he's running out of gas. His passive is attack at the scene of the fire, so his skills get a lot stronger when he's very low on stamina. He's basically the guy trying to drain the goalkeeper and also the one killing him in the end, because he wants to lower his stamina so that he's stronger, and then he'll be stronger and the goalkeeper ostensibly will be weaker. He kind of lacks anything on defense, but again, that's not something you should really hold against him. He is a forward after all, and he can dribble to set himself up. He does have an A Tiger Tackle, so if you want to keep that, that might be interesting to harass defenders, but not personally what I'd go with. Anyway, Brave Tiger Shot is way more efficient than Raiju, but it is 10 power weaker and it's missing 1 blowaway, so there is that. For his pros, he's an 11k shooter, 11,090. His shooting skill has 2 blowaways, is kind of inexpensive. His passive makes him stronger in the late game, and he has a 15-5 team skill for Mono Red Japan and plenty of skill support. Now, he is a little better than Raiju at doing things other than shooting, but not by much. Those are his cons, and he's more or less not a factor in the early game until he spends some stamina. For a limit break, I just go ahead and focus on dribble, speed, shot, and power. You're really not going to be using anything else on this character, and you really want to have a lot of motion. You really want to be able to beat defenders. You're going to be having to do dribbles for that, and if you're going to have to use A80 Tiger Pass, then limit breaking is probably not going to help all that much, because most people think they're going to try to tackle you anyway. So now, for his stats, he has over 1,000 stamina, he's 1,003, he has 8,066 shot. That puts him at 8,000 dribble, everything else averaging to about 7.7k, 7.6 pass, 7.9 tackle, 7.8 block, 7.4 intercept, but again, 11,090 shot, which is pretty nice. For his skill build, I would say I would give him S. I mean, obviously, you gotta keep Brave Tiger Shot, but I'd go all in on committing to this, especially for something like Dream Cup, where you can just give him 30, 30, 30. I give him Brave Tiger Shot, Overhead Tiger, and Jumping Tiger Volley. And the reason for that is, listen, you're a striker. Do striker things. Just be a striker, man. Live your wildest striker fantasies. If you build a unit who absorbs more than one set of black balls to do things, and if you can afford to do that, he's actually an excellent user of Overhead Tiger and Jumping Tiger Volley. They're a little weaker than Brave Tiger Shot, but you have the option of just letting it rip in midair if you're in a matchup where you're probably not going to win against a blocker in terms of passing, or if you're up against like a guy who can cut pass, or can clear the ball so you can't really get into a position to shoot. And besides, you're going to get stronger every single time, so with Attack at the Scene of the Fire, these will eventually get really strong, especially in the late game, and you may not have the option of trapping the ball and doing anything else. Use Tiger Pass for having the full mix-up option, especially if you have like World Cup 2018 Aoi who you can dump the ball to. He is a forward, obviously, role, his striker, and I would rate him an S. I think he's still a very good unit. He's not like a broken unit, but there's a lot of use for him, and I think he's a welcome addition to anyone's red team. Now we talk about Jun Misugi, the ace returns. He's a utility defender. He plays attacking midfielder, defensive midfielder, or defender. He's, again, a utility defender. He's more valuable for his team skill and any other contribution he provides to the team by himself. He's kind of like in the 8.3k categories for dribbling, passing, and pass cut. But his tackle's at 9.5, so he's a balanced unit that can be limit broken 4 ways, because at 8.3 at the very least, 8.3, 8.4 at the very least, if you invest in them, they'll get up to like the 9,000s, so they're a little more scary. He could play 3 different positions, so, you know, it is what it is. He's a little more capable when put in Mono Blue Japan, but he's otherwise peculiar because he's kind of mediocre. If they had like taken away about 1,400 points combined between shot and block, and given them to his intercept and tackle, he'd be a lot better, but, you know, that's not what they did. With 30% Insight Master, though, he does make sure that if he makes good decisions and good guesses, he'll probably win. And that's what keeps him kind of relevant, right? That's what I think keeps him in the A tier. For pros, he has Insight. He's an Insight Master defender, which I think Insight Master is best spent always on defenders or on attacking midfielders. Actually, I think for attacking midfielders that are trying to enable the front, it's not great on enablers. I think on defense, where guessing right gets you the ball, I think Insight Master is the best. Because continuing to use the ball is less useful than, in my opinion, taking it when it comes to having Insight Master. He has okay stamina for Misugi. It's like 900. It's like high 900s. And since you can limit break him in 4 different categories that are all decent, and he easily reaches 9k because of that, and then you Insight Master boost him, I think that makes him pretty rough. He has a 15-5 team skill for Mono Blue Japan and plenty of skill support. Now the things against him are that he needs Matsuyama for his tackle. There's a few of those. There are very few of those that are good in blue. It's really just maybe like the old hidden ability one, which is not great, or the middle school one that has the pass and the tackle. I think that's the one you're basically stuck using. Basically, he has rather mediocre stats, so he can't really bully anyone out of the ball. You're basically trying to guess right. Again, stamina 948, nothing really on offense, but he does have 6,000 speed, and also 6.5k tackle. That puts him at 9.5k tackle, and again, 8,000 dribble, 8,000 pass, 8,300 dribble, 8,300 pass, and 8,400 intercept. So if you limit break them 4 ways, which is what I did the 16, 16, 18, nothing, 17, 17, 16. You'll end up having like 9.4, 9.4, 9.5, 10.6. And I think that will be pretty solid for you, honestly. Now for his skill build, I would keep double defense. Obviously you can't change it, it's his main skill. But you can work with 8 skills that are leveled up. I would give him Magnificent Interception, Drive Pass, Magnificent Footwork. And then, listen. First break is a pipe dream, okay? If you manage to pull 2.01 Misugis and you're willing to remove one of them to give them to him, have a blast. Otherwise, for the rest of you who live in reality, I would give him an A tackle, A pass, or a better A pass cut like A Skylab Interception. Or you can waste your time and teach him like an A shot or an A block. You never know, with 30% you might be able to block something. Especially if it's a decent enough block like S overhead block or something, and you face against a long distance shooter, might help you take the ball there. Again, I think he's like an A tier unit. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. Here now we have Konzo Tachibana, the Skylab fighter, a green striker, but really his two positions are forward and attacking midfielder, but he's really a striker. He's a little perplexing. He's a version of the Tachibana twins that has a mostly mediocre ground shot to start, and he's able to perform alone that he can do by himself, sorry. And then he has the standard A Tachibana twins 1-2, but what makes him really usable is the fact that he has a passive that gives him 10% stats that he's playing with his brother, and frankly you're going to have to do that if you want to do Skylab Hurricane, Skylab Twin Shot, etc, etc, etc. Which are all his aerial combination moves. This particular twin, in my opinion, is a little bit weaker than normal, but since he has A80 Skylab Hurricane, and you can teach him S or A Skylab Twin Shot, and those are still kind of scary, and since he still has the team skill needed for monitoring Japan, he kind of squeaks into the A tier. I still think he's a little bit terrifying if you give him like S Skylab Twin Shot. If you actually had a dupe to give him, and you level that up, he's probably going to be a nightmare. So for pros, great aerial shooter, whether it be Skylab Twin Shot or Skylab Hurricane. He comes with a pretty decent 1-2 to self-advance, and he has decent speed. Obviously, again, 15-5 team skill for monitoring Japan, and he has alright skill support. Now, cons are that if he's not in the air, he's not doing anything good, and the reason he's rated so highly is because 12,947 high and low shots when played with his brother isn't anything to sneeze at, and that's before limit break. But other than that, like, really, he's just an aerial striker. And he lacks an access to an easily accessible dribble, which kinda sucks. Now, stamina 923, nothing to write home about. The twins generally seem to have lower stamina than normal. A 6.7k shot and middling power is enough to give him 9.4k shot. Honestly, nothing here should stand out too much. His dribble being 7.9 and his pass being 7.9 are nice, but he only really comes into an own when played with his brother. For his skill build, I'd keep the monkey shot. Again, you can't change it. Give him Skylab, Tachibana Twins, Skylab Hurricane. These are things he comes with. But then try to teach him the S Skylab Twin Shot if you have it, or pull the Dream Collection version of the A version and give it to him. And if you were able to find the dupe to give him Skylab Twin Shot, make sure you pull off his dribble to give it to him. If you can't do that, give him the B Strong Tackle instead. It's a bit of a bummer that he's not stronger than he is, because green is kind of lacking in good shooters other than like Santana and I would say Hino. That's pretty much it. There is like the green Kluivert, but he only is good once it's him versus the goalkeeper. And then like the green Schneider I pulled is only good unless if you're facing Japanese players. You know, everyone else has limitations. This guy's only good if he's in the air. You know, that's just how green works. He's only good in X. Anyways, if he and his other green twin are on the field, you can get him to 45%, and if you don't have the Tsubasa but you have true captaincy, it's actually more like 43, almost close to 44, because of the way of how multiplication works and how the hidden ability of plus 2% is actually multiplicative against everything. So everything adds up, you know. I think he's rated A. Again, he just squeaks in, but maybe you go for broke for him if you really do need like the green passive. Next up is Masao Tachibana, Skylab fighter. He's a defensive midfielder and defender, tackler. Every now and then we get a version of the twins that's a lot more defensive, like the World Youth Kazo that was free in the spring event that had the block. And that's this Masao. He's an accomplished tackler, fits pretty well as a wingback on a team that might feature the middle school Kazo up front next to, say, Crashing Lightning Hyuga, where you may not have or want to run another twin at forward. He's decent enough tackling and interception. Decent enough at tackling and interception that's primarily what you're going to be focusing on. But there's not much else to say about him because it's a fairly straightforward unit. He needs Jito on the field if you plan on using his pass cut, so focus on that. For his limit break, full tackle speed, intercept technique, don't worry about anything else, because really that's what he is. He's a decent tackler and a pass cutter. He has decent enough team skill support. He has decent enough skill support, and his team skill is just plus 10 to all reds, so that's fine. The problem is that Red Japan doesn't particularly need anyone at defense. And he's one of the best strikers in the game if you play the flying squirrel jumper Red Masao. So if you have both of them, it's really hard to justify running this unit when you could be running the middle school Kazuo and then the other version of Masao, who's way crazier, honestly. Or do I have those two backwards? I don't know, but basically there's bigger versions of them. Now for his stats, stamina 951, he has 6.3 tackle and 6,000 speed. That's good enough for a 9.3 tackle, and he does have 8.1 dribble. It's decent enough. If you find a dribble, you probably really won't, although you can give him skill dribble. And his intercept is 8.3, you know, pretty decent. As for his skills, I suggest that you give him Wild Monkey Tackle, Skylab Interception, Tachibana Twins. These are things he comes with, and then you add Skylab Block and Precise Pass. The only reason I really think you should be giving him Skylab Block is like sometimes you'll be in the box against a guy who's in the top in the air, and Skylab Block might help you there because you are very good at high balls or at low balls, you know, whichever one. Precise Pass is nice at the forward you match up with as a potato at pass cutting, but otherwise you want to dump the ball off of this unit as soon as you can to any open midfielder or defender that's better at passing. Don't keep the ball on him, it's dangerous. Last but not least, not least, frankly, we have Ken Wakachimazu's super aggressive defense, the green, off-maligned goalkeeper. Ken's considered kind of a slap in the face to green players by the majority of the player base, and the reason for that is because he's basically slightly worse 2017 Samurai Blue Genzo Wakabayashi. Also, his catch is more expensive. It's a little bit better, but it's more expensive. So the upper limit seems like it would always be a little lower than Genzo's, but there is the benefit where you can play him hybrid, and it's not a horrible idea because the little bit of catch that maybe you're not optimizing, you give it to him in punch, and he can really use that because he has access to an A, B, and C punch, so that you can really be super granular about how you spend your stamina. I guess the problem though is that Ken's skills in general are kind of more expensive than any other goalkeeper skills, so the granularity comes with a little bit of a cost, right? If they had given this guy a full body stand, he would have been fantastic, but they didn't. So pros, he's a hybridable goalkeeper with master catcher, ensuring that if he's not going to punch, he'll catch any ball he successfully saves. He has better stamina than the previous top row green goalkeeper, which was the 2017 Genzo. And he's also the only goalkeeper in the game. Basically every version of Ken is good against high balls. So there's a fun fact for you. If you fight someone who's going to use a lot of overheads that were actually high balls, this is a good way to try to deal with them. For cons, he's not really stronger than any previous top green goalkeepers. He's regarded as much worse than he actually is, frankly. Even though he's actually quite good. He's not top tier, but he's quite good. He's better than, the A tier goalkeepers, and there's plenty of those. Well, actually not really. There's only like 3 or 4. Anyways, the catch skill's pretty expensive to use, Limit break, I would do punch and catch 25-25, then power 19, and then split the remaining 6 points between speed and technique, and that's how you get a little bit better than 1250, something like 1263 at punch and catch total. Your stamina is 960, which it could have been at least over 1,000, but they didn't even give him that. His punch and catch are in the 7,000s. Speed, power, and technique are not much home to write about. If they had given him the 7,000 in power instead of speed, he would actually be stronger in both counts. He would be a little bit better at both stats. He'd actually probably be better at punching than he would be at catching. Again, high ball, a little bit of a bonus. He's a 10,072 puncher and a 10,569 catcher. Again, not a big difference. For a skill build, I would teach him, keep obviously solid block, that's what you come with. Then I would teach him the A triangle jump, which you can get from the online coin version of Wakashimazu. And from that one, you can also teach him the triangle jump defensive chop if you have not sacrificed the old crappy version of Ken to him. And then also, if you do find the old crappy version of Ken, you can give him B karate punch defense and round it all off with C back kick. And you basically wind up with this really complete character. The thing about Ken is that he's a bit fun to use, right? It's interesting to try and pick the absolute best save for any given scenario, because triangle jump defensive shot is a good way to save a ball. You're not worried if it goes back into play, but that is pretty strong. But it does get to like 325 power, so that's pretty convenient. Triangle jump is a good way to secure long distance shots. You're really not sure you can just safely punch away. And karate punch defense and back kick round out your ability to stave off garbage or way too far shots without exposing yourself to the possibility of the RNG just murdering you. If his overall potential was higher, he'd be awesome. He really deserved to have full body stand, but that's what we wound up with. So anyways guys, thank you for coming out to this video. The game is not up yet, so I can't really do any pulls or show you anything interesting. The second part of the Dream Cup is coming very shortly. I will not be pulling on this banner immediately. I'll be waiting until this weekend to stream and pull with you. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it. We are now officially at 1,000 subs. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I really appreciate it. I don't know what to do. People have suggested that people could send me screenshots of their team and I do something like a full video of Team Doctor. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe a stream where I just play against the people who are viewers. That might be interesting as well, but with the Dream Cup in full effect and Christmas right around the corner, it feels like it'll be kind of hard to really commit to doing all those things. So we'll discuss it, you know, on this weekend over the stream. We'll discuss what it is that we'll do to celebrate 1,000 subs. So again, thank you guys so much for subscribing. I don't know if it'll be Friday or Saturday. Most likely Saturday is the day that I'll choose to actually host my stream for, I guess, a celebration stream. So please keep your eyes peeled for Saturday. I'll start streaming here. And again, thank you very much for coming out here. If you are not yet a subscriber, please go ahead and click subscribe, and then click the little bell icon so that you can be notified whenever I release new material. If you are already a subscriber, or you know, just passing through or just watching this video, you know, because you enjoy the content, please go ahead and remember to click like and leave a comment telling me what you think of the characters, tell me what you think of the analysis, and maybe I'll do something interesting for the subs that is not what we were expecting, like something like a analysis of the 0.01 units, which I do eventually want to do. I want to pick up all 4 of the 0.01 units and analyze them. They are weird in ways that you wouldn't expect, and I think they deserve a good looking at. And I mean, what better thing to do for the legendary sub amount, right, than to analyze the legend units. So anyways, guys, thanks again for coming out here, and I hope you have a great night, and I hope you find and pull whatever it is that you're looking for in this banner. Take care of yourselves, and see you later.